Bad dude.
Oh, very bad dude. Yeah, he was a rabble-rouser. He was, giving all the, you can kill that one. And he was wiping out, other alpha Muslims as well, like the murder of Mustafa Shalabi in Coney Island. So he's the one that ordered that hit. So very bad guy, very bad guy.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
You get through. What's your first post?
Newark. So I'm at Newark.
You go right to Newark.
Right to Newark. Yeah, I wanted New York, but because it had this reputation of being the flagship and Russian spies and all of this interesting work going on. But it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because had I gone to New York, I would have made a little more money. But I think I would have been lost in the crowd. It was just so many agents over there. Whereas Newark, which was nearer to my house, I was in North Plainfield at the time. Newark was a smaller field office, and they decided to take me, right into the JTTF, which even my boss said, this is unusual, and you shouldn't be here, he told me. Talk about welcoming, right?
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll go home.
Yeah, there you go. He said you should be on the applicant squad, doing what we all did. So I don't know how you got here, but okay, we'll use you.
So what was the draw to them bringing you on? They saw something in you.
Yeah, the Middle East terrorism. They said, you've lived out there for 5 years. You speak Arabic. You know the territory. So
you're squared away. You passed all the background checks.
Yeah,
and you fit the profile that we need.
Right.
It was like an anti-profile.
Yeah.
Right.
So you get on the JTTF, and how did you use those skills you've learned throughout your life up to this point?
Right.
Did those skills come in handy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I told you about that one instance where I'm with this guy, he's the subject, and all of a sudden he's my best friend. So what happened with me is...
Such a good friend, you gave me your phone number.
Yeah. Come party with me. Yeah. So, I spent most of my time cultivating informants from the the Middle Eastern areas, Patterson, Jersey City, those areas. And I actually was quite successful at doing that. But I had an advantage because, again, I knew the culture, I knew the customs, I knew the language, basically. So I had that advantage, whereas the other people on my squad, the bank robbery, white-collar fraud, so they were, different things, but not Middle East terrorism. So I was happy to kind of impart my wisdom to them. Yeah, so that's...
You become an asset to that whole situation. And, just meeting you in person, you don't come off as a person where I'm going to hold you down until you talk.
No.
You're a relationship type of cop.
Yeah.
Which is a valuable asset, especially in something like JTTF.
Yeah, I would think so. And again, I've always adhered to the 80-20 rule, where, I'm talking 20% of the time max, and you let them talk 80% of the time, whether they're hanging themselves or whether they're getting to be your buddy, whatever it is. So, and they saw that I was comfortable with them. I never rushed them. It was always a relationship because, I know that Middle Eastern people are interested in forging relationships. So
they value relationships.
Right. Well, it sounds like you do too.
Yeah.
Forging relationships.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a people person. I admit that. And it worked very well for me. And there was one. This is probably the most satisfying experience I had with JTTF. I mean, we were running after. There was the murder of Rabbi Kahani by Said Nozer, over in New Jersey, Palisades.
Yep. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, this is the beginning of Al-Qaeda, actually. And all of a sudden, Said Nozer, and then the sheikh, the blind sheikh, comes in, Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman. Now I'm on a street corner in Jersey City with Abdurrahman after I'm in Egypt thinking, Sadat, look at that. He was killed here. Who ordered it? Who gave the fatwa? Well, it was the sheikh. Now I'm on the corner with the sheikh, thinking, holy shit. Just a few years ago, I'm in Egypt, in Cairo, thinking, Sadat is the one that. Are
you talking to him?
Yes, I'm jawing with him on the street corner, we were asked by my supervisor to go with INS, and they had deportation papers. But Kenny, you know the people, you go with them. So we stake the place out. He comes out with his bodyguard driver, and INS. I'm with 2 INS guys, and we're all vested up. And the sheikh decides, I don't accept these papers. The government, your government sucks. And then the other guy starts, reaching for stuff, and the INS guys grab him, and there's a tussle, and it's going south. It's going south pretty quick. But I think the most embarrassing thing was the sheikh looks at me and he says, "Your Arabic sucks." And when he says sucks, I mean he called it zift in Arabic, which literally means tar, but colloquially means shit. And that hurt my feelings more than anything else.
Don't you understand? I've studied my whole life to get here.
You can't do that to me in front of all these people.
Is that guy still alive?
No, he died. I think he died in North Carolina, one of the federal prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad dude.
Oh, very bad dude. Yeah, he was a rabble rouser. He was, giving all the you can kill that one, and he was wiping out other alpha Muslims as well, like the murder of Mustafa Shalabi in Coney Island. So he's the one that ordered that hit. So very bad guy, very bad guy.
But he was, so the one thing I've learned about those organizations, you cut the head off the snake, another one grows right back. Yeah,
sure.
Or a power vacuum happens.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's why he's trying to kill all the alphas so they don't cut his snake.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So you're speaking to him. What other interesting events happen? Because it seems like you're kind of like the Forrest Gump of the FBI at this point.
Yeah. There was another. There was a Palestinian fella born in Iraq who was kind of snowing one of our agents on the squad, and this person said, we have a great informant. This informant is, giving us some good information about Iran." And I'm like, yeah, but what's the background of this person? Palestinian, Iraq? That's bullshit. I said, there's something wrong. Let me meet this guy. So the guy was, look good, talk good, living the American dream. He's an assistant manager to a country club, the whole thing. But by night, he's working for Saddam Hussein. This is what we find out. And, we get to know him. I get some sources. Send them against him, and now we find out that this is just before the first Gulf War, that this guy is the messenger boy. And so he's going over, I'm just going to Jordan. Bullshit. Yeah. We know that. We have friends over in Jordan. But he was actually going to Iraq, to Baghdad, and he was doing the bidding of Saddam. I want you to source stuff in the States. If this war goes bad, we need to get supplies, contracts. You're in New Jersey, make it happen. So I saw through the guy pretty quickly, and we did this. I asked him to come over to the field office. We want to interview you. He comes over. He's got like two tape recorders in his pocket, but I have a source, and the guy. So I knew. So I said, "Dump your pockets." And, I'm like, pure theater. Oh, you would do this to me. Why? I'm your friend. I said, I don't record you. Why would you record me? But this actually happened one other time as well with one of these imams as well. The same thing. I'm going to record you.
They're doing a magic trick. They're trying to say, look over here while the magic's happening over here.
Yeah.
So you move along in your career. How many years did you do there?
So I just did 3. I did 3 years with JTTF, and then I got recruited for an overseas federal group, U.S. Agency for International Development, AID. And so I worked with their Office of Inspector General.
But you're still current FBI?
No,
you left.
No, I left.
Okay.
Yeah, I left, and so I joined this. Yeah, again, I like the overseas thing, and I realized in Newark, I'm just going to stay in the States. I'm not going to travel overseas, and I really like the overseas stuff. So, I took this offer going overseas, and I ended up in Central America.
And was that vastly different? Because it took you away from that little nagging thing in the background. that you always wanted to be involved in law enforcement. Did you stay there for a long time?
No, but it was actually, we did have badges, we had guns, we had, we basically were working white-collar fraud cases. And I didn't know anything about it going in, but I had been recruited by some ex-FBI guys who knew fraud pretty well. And I said, guys, I don't know anything about fraud. We'll teach you. They said, we'll teach you. And so that's what happened. So, I went over. I still work cases in the Middle East, but I was in Central and South America doing a lot of work.
And is that where you finished up your life in law enforcement?
No. So I was there about 7 years, and then was not going anywhere in the going up through the ranks. I kind of hit this wall. It's called management. I just didn't get along with my supervisor, and I knew. I was doing good work, I felt, but this person, there was kind of an animosity going on, and I just said, this is real. I got to get out of here. And then someone, the Secret Service guy that I was telling you about with the LBJ thing,
Mm-hmm.
he was a supervisor in El Paso, and he called me. He said, I heard about you. I heard you do pretty good work. Heard you speak Spanish. How would you like to join Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General? And I'm like, thank you for throwing the life. Thank you so much. Yes, I'll be down there tomorrow, type thing. But he, very nice guy, and I ended up going out to the southwest border.
This is amazing because you get the job as the FBI. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, some people, that's it.
It's a career,
that's it. You don't move on. But
I'm a legitimate G-man at this point.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand that whole thing, but I like to open doors and see what's behind the next door. And to be honest with you, I did a few years with this agency, and then again, not seeing it just wasn't working out, and so I said, I'll go back to the bureau. So I applied to go back for the bureau, and I went through the whole process again, and everything was going perfectly well until we got to the color vision test. And then I discovered that I'm colorblind, red-green deficiency, and which is strange because
your book has red in it.
Is that what that is? Okay, I thought it was yellow, but when we had the test when I first joined, it was nothing more than some agent coming in with the balls of yarn, and just like 5 balls of yarn: blue, red, green, yellow, and that's not a problem for a colorblind person. Red or green in a ball. You can. That's easy.
Yellow is red.
Yeah. So that was no problem. Now I'm going back to try to get back into the bureau, and they've changed the test, and now they're using Ishihara plates where you look at bubbles, colors, and you're supposed to find a number in there. If you're not colorblind, you're going to see this number. If you're colorblind, you're going to see the other number.
Right.
And they said, you fail. You're colorblind. So that kind of blew me away. I didn't know, that I had that deficiency.
Well, it's just been normal to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then later I realized that, you guys, I guess, you see things differently, certainly differently than I do. There's kind of more, it's just more color, it's brighter. More vibrant because I put on some lenses. This is how normal people see things, and I went, whoa, how do I get me a pair of these lenses?
See those videos of little kids doing that. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then the bureau, and this was interesting, and this kind of went off in a different direction, but the bureau said, we can't hire you because, and the reason is, for example, if you do a search warrant and you describe things, you could screw up, and then because of your color vision, it might be, the color of the house is red, and you said it's yellow or something.
I never thought about it that way, but that makes sense.
Right. So I talked to an attorney who was pretty good in the Washington circles with feds, and he said, no, you have a beef with these people. He said, you've got all these awards. You had one award that is like outstanding that you can't talk about, and they're telling you that you cannot do the job. You did the job. So, we did this legal action against the bureau, and it took a few years, and actually we won the case, and they said, okay, you can come back to the bureau. Now, 3 or 4 years has gone by, right? And I'm out in El Paso now. I've got a family. You know, I'm rising up through the ranks. I'm like the second in command. And so they said, okay, we'll take you back, but we have to bust you down 2 levels, and you're going to Puerto Rico because you speak Spanish. So
Now they're really sticking it to you.
Yeah, they do. They always stick it to you. But what's interesting, and this is where I kind of I kind of feel good about this. If anything, I without knowing it, I ended up paving the way for men and women that came after me with the same deficiency, because at the end of the day, they changed the test so that it wasn't as difficult with the Ishihara plates. They went to another test, which was much easier. So we did all scientific studies and stuff and proved that those people could do the job. There was no problem.
When was it time to hang up your spurs?
2010. You know, I was in El Paso doing internal affairs. And what's interesting is, so I'm with the Bureau, and now I'm with DOJ OIG, and I'm investigating the Bureau, people in the Bureau, which was kind of ironic. And at the same time working with them on cases, because we're a small group, and sometimes we need manpower. So you grab Customs, you grab DEA, FBI. So it's just kind of interesting how that played out.
But then we come to this fine piece of work over here. Why write a book? What was it? Was it something that was in you bubbling up, or does it feel like you had a story to come out, Cop Son? You know,
Yeah.
what's the crux of that?
Yeah, great. That's a great question. So, you know, I suppose some of it is legacy. If nothing, you know, for my family, for my kids, grandkids, you know, what did you do? Well, this is what I did. This is some of what I did. You get an idea. But I remember talking to a guy. I had a security job after government in Pasadena, and I remember talking to this client, and he said, "Hey, tell me a story." And I'm like, "Huh? Tell me a story. You know, FBI, DOJ. Just tell me something. I'm so curious." So I told the guy a story, and he said, "Holy shit, that's unbelievable. That's some." And I'm like, "Really?" "Oh yeah, man. I've never heard this stuff. You should write a book." So that kind of got me thinking.
A little light bulb goes off.
Yeah, maybe I should. And I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I have some interesting stories to tell. You know, all of it is kind of contemplative. It's a humanity more than anything else. It's my success. It's my failure. It's the tragedy, and there were a few, and there was you know, comedy, you know, everyday comedy, right? Yeah. It's all there.
You just described police work pretty well.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's
A shift in police work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's success, failure, tragedy.
Right.
A lot of comedy.
Yeah. So Kevin, this one podcaster, I came out with the book, and one podcaster said, "Look, this is great. You got a book. So look, I want the biggest, the best case you ever had, the most arrests you made, the case with the biggest recoveries, financial recoveries. That's what we're going to talk about." And I said, "I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to work out for you.
Yeah.
This is not that type of book. This is something a little deeper than that. I'm not beating my chest and saying, and you know, really, probably my greatest success was the most subtle case that I kind of, you know, been groomed, you know, in the Middle East, and I walked into a situation and like, whoa, you know, and you look back and say, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was very cool. But it's not the, you know, $50 million recovery or 10 people I took down single-handedly or none of that stuff, no.
Some people make a very good living on those big cases like that.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, you know.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it. I knew you were bringing us copies tonight, and I hope you are willing to sign us some copies.
Absolutely.
And where can we find it?
So you can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
And, you know, we're going to do a paperback pretty soon. I want to do an audiobook.
You went bold. You went to hardcover first.
Yeah, this publisher is like, he's really into hardcovers, and he's a big cover guy. He says, you got to get the cover right. And we worked on the cover for a long time and worked on the title for a long time.
Cover's got to be like grabbing.
That's it. Yeah. That's what he said, man. He says you got to stop people to just come over and say, take a chance on the book. And
well, where can we find you? Where can our audience find you? I find you on Instagram all the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that stuff. I also have an author website, which is, www.kennethstrange.com as well. I've got another book. I have a first book, which is self-published, but I have another book coming out on the Middle East next year. It's called Land of Sand. I might have that princess story in there.
I'm pretty interested because I have a feeling you're not telling us the whole story.
Yeah, boy, was she beautiful?
I'm sure she was. Money seems to make people more beautiful, too. We're coming to the end of this thing.
Yeah.
And I always end the show the same way. I ask the same question. It's, you've gone through a lot of different things. You've seen the world, and you've seen all these different things, how other people suffer, how you've suffered, how you've watched other people go through certain things. But it's had to have taught you something, this incredibly civic-minded life, from, the way your father came up in NYPD to your life in government law enforcement.
Yeah.
What do you think that suffering has taught you?
Don't take yourself too seriously. You depend so much on your fellow police officers.
Not a one-man game.
It's not a one-man show. I've learned that, and I've always collaborated with other agencies. Although the FBI had this reputation, I've never saw it where they would, taking the glory and this, that. I never saw that personally, and I would never stand for something like that. But, I love to kind of spread it around. And many of the cases that I work, especially in the southwest border and with the cartels, and I made sure that the Bureau was involved, Customs was involved. It was like one happy family, and we got along because we all had the same goal.
You share.
Yeah, we shared it.
You share, and a high tide rises all boats.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you coming all this way. I loved it. I was looking forward to this. I know I was talking to Mike about it when we had our first phone call. I'm like, Mike, I got this. I just got done talking to this guy. You're going to like it. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are terrific. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast with Kenneth Strange. And let's think about all the stuff that we learned here. Clean cops keep their dignity. King Kenneth sounds pretty nice. Your path is often laid out for you. Law enforcement is success, failure, tragedy, and comedy. Forge relationships, they're important. But most importantly, don't take yourself too seriously. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to the Oakley Kitchen at 789 Bloomfield Avenue in Nutley. Great food, great environment. Go to popple.com for a digital business card. Put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount. Find us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, X. See, I got X right. LinkedIn, Clapper, whatever, Facebook. And
OnlyFans.
Follow Mike at Mike_Felice. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson. And, of course, follow Suffering Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.